The world is a big boring cage from which no one can escape, but there is a game that gives people the illusion that they are escaping reality. In a fantasy world, people can live a free, lively life. The most spectacular magic battles, the best of friends, the most elite partner that they can lean on. But have you ever considered what happens when the game invades reality? And the two worlds become linked when humans enter the game world. The monster will make you tremble, powerful enemies will not let you live, and unknown curses and death will always await you in the mandatory battles. Is it an enemy or a friend when you can't tell the difference between a comrade and an enemy from the people around you? After all, who is the mastermind behind all of this? What will you do if you have a choice in this life? A new era awaits where full of reality and illusion, fascinating and thrilling. The story begins in a dark cave filled with spider webs and enormous level 20 elite shadow spiders. Our story protagonist named Fang Tian is an assassin in this world. He's a skinny man with blue hair and ruby eyes. He's wearing a cape and wields a dagger. At this moment, he's currently doing a reward mission called Shadow Spider, which he can be rewarded 240 additional experience and 1,000 silver coins once he will successfully completes this mission. This is the game world where he lived for more than 12 years. He was drawn into this virtual game 12 years ago and had to rely on these types of missions to survive. This world is filled with monsters, mutants, elves, and many other species, as well as dangers everywhere. It's unclear who is the predator or the prey in this type of mission, but Fang Tian is accustomed to this way of life. While he was fighting with spiders, someone sent him a message informing him that there is an urgent mission in which he should quit the game immediately. The spider is already behind him, and what he knows is he needs to avoid it for now. When he was away from the monster, he then seized the opportunity to quit. He lasted for a total of 112,129 hours and 23 minutes in this game. For 12 years, he hasn't left the game world, and the real world in his memory has become very vague. He was transmitted to a location similar to a stockroom. By observing the surroundings, he realizes he is in the real world, which made him confused because he hasn't received any quests in the real world ever since. At this time, the previous attack from the spiders had a paralyzed effect and he have to quickly deal with it. While he was sitting and treating his wound, someone is behind him. Because of his high awareness, he then drags his dagger and pointed it at the man behind, but when he saw the face, he knew that it was his uncle Ha Boda, the one who sent him a message of an urgent mission. Ha Boda is the person transferring this mission to him. In the game, he would also be the one sending a list of missions to Fang Tian. Ha Boda handed Fang Tian a brown envelope, and inside of it is Fang Tian's task in the real world. Fang Tian was surprised that his mission this time isn't in the game. Ha Boda reminded him that this is a special mission and he can consider this as a test. He needs to approach the president of the trade union, the T-27 commander of Region 3. This mission has a long duration, and Fang Tian needs to remember that he shouldn't let other people know that he was living as an assassin in a game world. He is also unable to use his abilities in the real world and should not use the method of logging into the game. After Ha Boda informed him about the rules, he suddenly used a fire skill which made Ha Boda to be annoyed and hit his head. I just said that you can't use abilities, right? Ha Boda stated. Fang Tian's clothes looked like he was cosplaying, so Ha Boda told him that he needs to change it, a clothes that humans in the real world normally wear. Ha Boda decided to let him see the establishment's exterior. It has a nice view and is surrounded by several tall buildings. Fang Tian has been living in the game world since he was a child, and he must adapt to the real world now that he has a mission to accomplish. Since Ha Boda has experienced everything here, he gives two things to Fang Tian that he needs to know. The first thing is he should smile widely without nervousness. The second is to find a girlfriend with big boobs. Fang Tian knows that these two things are all nonsense, but Ha Boda told him that big-boobed ones are usually dumb, so he needs to find those types of girls. Intelligent girls are scary, Ha Boda added, which made Fang Tian believe. Ha Boda has shown everything that Fang Tian needs, and Fang Tian is now ready to carry out his task. From another point of view, one man is holding a photograph of two men leaning against an antique car. One of them resembles Fang Tian, and the other man with red hair is the man associated with Fang Tian's task, as well as the man inside the envelope that Ha Boda handed to him. His name is Tang Ran, and he was the one that is holding the photo. He was distracted by his secretary informing him that the area she's managing has suffered several earthquakes. Upon hearing it, Tang Ran doesn't care and told the lady that she should decide about this matter by herself. Aside from that, the secretary informed him that they already found the boy that he was looking for how many years. According to his secretary, the Western Police Department of the city has found some traces of that boy. Take me to that department right away, Tang Ran demanded. In a police station, Fang Tian is sitting inside, wearing a long-sleeve pants and white sneakers with a band-aid on his face. He was waiting for the appearance of the T-27 commander of Region 3, which is also the man with red hair named Tang Ran. A few hours ago, Ha Boda informed him that he should pretend that he's a slave and a homeless child who was sold 10 years ago. Pa Boda was very sure that Tang Ran will come to Fang Tian and take him to his home. He also warned Fang Tian that this person isn't a simple target, so he should not act hastily before receiving the next order. Fang Tian feels nervous because this mission is much more complicated for him than the Shadow Spider mission. Meanwhile, Tang Ran arrived at the station and Fang Tian recognized him right away. Tang Ran's secretary informed him that according to the investigation, this boy was abused. Tang Ran feels pity for him and he was acting like a traumatized person to look like he was really a victim of maltreatment. Don't be afraid. I'm Tang Ran, your father's friend. I met you when you were a child. Come home to me, Tang Ran uttered. At this point, Fang Tian successfully achieves his first goal. When they arrive at Tang Ran's house, Fang Tian already has a room. When he entered, he saw right away the photo of Tang Ran with a man that is similar to him. Is this my dad? Fang Tian asked. Before Tang Ran can answer, an excited voice interrupts them wanting to see Fang Tian's appearance. She's a lovely daughter of Tang Ran named Tang Qian, a slim girl with pink hair and plum eyes. Tang Ran leaves them both and Qian approached Fang Tian with friendly intentions, informing him that they will both stick together starting from this day. Fang Tian becomes nervous and introduced himself like a game character. Qian laughed and told him that he was acting like a game character similar to the professional assassin NPC in the game. Qian put her hand into his face and introduced herself as a magician, which made Fang Tian believes that she was really a magician, which is a very strong professional in the game world. At this point, Qian thought that he was a fan of a virtual game, that's why she brings Fang Tian to a game store. Since Fang Tian stayed in a game for 12 years, he doesn't have any idea what place is this. There was a recently launched game named Magic. This game is super popular all over the world, where they only have to put on the device to sign into the game. It was similar to reality, which is why people were eager to spend a lot of time playing this game. The name of the game was familiar to Fang Tian. It was also the name of the game where he lived in. There is a match today and Qian informed him that he should observe and learn from the players. Suddenly, Liu Jianbin, Qian's classmate in physics class, interrupts them to inform her that they are losing to the chemistry class with a score of 0-3. Upon hearing it, Qian pulled the VR helmet and told Fang Tian she would be back after defeating their opponent. She then puts on her helmet and starts the match in advanced mode. Many students are watching the game and Jianbin believes that they have a high chance of winning in an advanced mode because the players will have the same skill level, equipment, and attribute points. Whoever lost will need to pay an internet fee for a whole month and Qian needs to win this match since they already lost 3 rounds. The game begins between physics and chemistry classes. On a screen, the two players will be seen in a coliseum-style arena with a massive statue holding a sword that divides the space into 2 equal halves. Qian is holding his magician staff while her opponent in black is a warrior type holding a shield and a hammer. Fang Tian recognized this arena, which can also be found in a game world where he used to live in. Since Fang Tian is too naive, he was confused about why Qian was inside the arena and also appears in the real world at the same time. Qian cast her instant fireball shooting skill and Fang Tian knew that this skill is only available to those who are level 25 and above. The opponent used his shield and while observing him, Qian realized that the continued attacks make the opponent lose 1/4 blood, but the level of his shield has a huge help. The opponent thought that Qian had lost some mana, so he rushed to Qian and readies himself to attack, but Qian knows how to control her mana and immediately cast Ice Ring, which made the opponent freeze and his speed was deteriorate. The crowd was cheering and so proud to see Qian in a very skillful way of calculating the ice circle skill very accurately. Fang Tian was so focused on observing the match that he realized that Qian is a genius magician who continuously used advanced skills. However, the opponent smiled and Fang Tian knows that this man will have another attack. There was a red light emitted to the opponent and Fang Tian knew that it will be a fierce attack. Through this skill, he managed to free himself from the ice that immobilized him. Upon seeing it, Qian was alarmed and wondered why her ice circle skill doesn't work. The opponent rushed to her with turbo speed holding his hammer while Qian cast an ice shield, but the opponent was still able to break it and hit Qian, causing her to be thrown into the corner and putting her into a dizzy state. The opponent was standing in front of Qian and swung his hammer, which deals 2077 critical hit that make Qian lose almost all of her health. The chemistry class is cheering for their captain while the physics are worried about Qian. Fang Tian was puzzled, thinking if Qian was seriously hurt by the damage she received. Qian removed her helmet without any injuries or pain and Fang Tian was relieved upon seeing her. At this point, the score is already 0-4 and there is only one match left for the physics class, but no one wants to fight against the chemistry class. Qian was annoyed and shouted at her team for being too cowardly at such an important moment. Fang Tian was dumbfounded as to why Qian was seriously injured while fighting but returned to normal after the match was over. He had never experienced anything like this before, so he decided to take part in the final match. Since no one wants to fight the opponent, Kian decided to let him play, and she has full confidence in Fang Tian's abilities. Kian threw him to the gaming chair out of excitement and puts the helmet on him. When he entered the game, he feels the same feeling as the first time when he entered the game world. The login interface was like the player is floating in the sky, and Fang Tian never saw this before. He received a Supreme Mode Challenge invitation, and when he accepts the match, a 3-window game appears in front of him with the option to select which class he wants. It's either an assassin, a warrior, or a magician. Even in this world, he chose the assassin class, and his appearance changes in accordance with his looks in the game world. He received a friend request from Tang Ran, who was already annoyed because the battle was about to begin and Fang Tian doesn't choose a skill yet. The match will start in 20 seconds, and his opponent named Liuja has completed the skill selection. He then picked skills and was ready for the battle. Meanwhile, the players teleported into the mysterious forest. In this arena, the warriors can't use their full power, while the crowd is watching the game. They were confused why they didn't see Fang Tian in the arena, but Kian believes that he was started doing something since he's an assassin. Jian Bin was worried, thinking that the probability of losing is too high for them because the warriors have a lot of blood, which is also the natural counter of an assassin. It has been a while since the game started, but Fang Tian hasn't appeared yet. Liuja doesn't have an idea that Fang Tian was hiding in the bush behind him. Fang Tian was amazed by his defensive posture, but he knows that in this mysterious forest, he has many advantages over his opponent. The assassin can attack without being seen, and Fang Tian decided to launch his first attack from behind. When he was near Liuja, he suddenly loses control, and despite aiming the neck, he ends up causing a superficial cut on Liuja's cheeks. At this point, Liuja already knows his existence. He then sees the opportunity to use his high-class Tuni shield that creates a round shape in the middle. Liuja used an air axe attack while Fang Tian tried his luck to attack him, but ended up hit by the hammer, taking half of his health. He was confused because he feels like he was too weak and cannot fight back. Liuja teased him for being too weak and even called him a newbie. He was spinning his hammer and planning to execute Fang Tian with one hit. Suddenly, a system appeared to offer Fang Tian a freestyle mode. The crowd was watching Liuja rushing toward Fang Tian, and even all of them were frightened that Fang Tian will lose the battle. Fang Tian doesn't have any idea what freestyle mode, and since he doesn't have a choice, he decided to confirm. He regains full control of his body and manages to block the attack of his opponent, which made Liuja confused, but he then realized that Fang Tian is a freestyle player. Fang Tian takes advantage of the situation and hides in the bush again. The crowd was amazed, as this is their first time seeing a freestyle player with such expert moves. Kian explained that normally, players usually select semi-freestyle mode with the help of the system to fight easier. Only expert players can activate the entire freestyle mode, which totally depends on the player's ability to play. Liuja was frightened to think that he is facing an expert player. However, he believes that Fang Tian can't defeat him since the freestyle is not easy to use. When Liuja was already calmed, Fang Tian takes the opportunity to attack behind him with 2 daggers in the neck that deals a critical attack and deducted half of his health. Liuja can't even believe that a normal attack deals high damage. Liuja tried to fight back, but Fang Tian's speed is too rapid, and he also used an aerial attack with another critical hit, which made Liuja's armor to be damaged. Fang Tian's attack was too unpredictable, and Liuja was unable to defend himself. Fang Tian's dagger was pointed at his opponent's neck, and Liuja even thought that he was about to lose. Liuja used an iron hammer fierce attack and hit Fang Tian, which made him lose. Liuja was declared as the winner of their match, and the crowd can't believe that the freestyle mode expert just lost. They don't know that Fang Tian intended to be defeated, since he wanted to check if this method to play the game is different from his previous world. At this point, he confirmed that the death here doesn't mean that they actually die for real. He feels excited upon thinking that he can play this game to practice his skills without worrying about anything. He exits the game, and Jian Bin was still proud of him, but Kian was confused because she knows that Fang Tian has a high chance of winning. His opponent Liuja even believes that he obviously won the game if he still continues his last attack. Fang Tian lies and reasons that he doesn't familiar with the skill, that's why he lost track. Meanwhile, Fang Tian and Kian come home, and Kian was amazed at his abilities that even her school captain sees Fang Tian in a new light. When they both entered, Tang Ran was mad and waiting for them for too long. He scolded his daughter for bringing Fang Tian somewhere without asking permission, but Kian remained calm and leave both Fang Tian and her father in the living room. Tang Ran made an appointment with the doctor to check Fang Tian's health. Even though Fang Tian told him that he was not sick, Tang Ran still wanted to make sure, since he really believes that Fang Tian has endured terrible experiences. Because of his kindness, Fang Tian was thinking that he looks like he isn't pretending to be family. Fang Tian asked informations about his father. According to Tang Ran, they have been friends with Fang Tian's father for about 10 years. He remembered something, but he didn't continue to share it with Fang Tian. Instead, he informed that Fang Tian will start to go to the same school as his daughter Kian. At this point, Fang Tian was wondering why Tang Ran avoided answering his question about his father. He remembered when he was a kid sitting in a cart full of hay. Next to him is a man wearing a hoodie whom he called Master Carl. He also keeps on asking this man about his father, but what the man told him is to always remember that his father is a hero. Starting this day, he believes that Tang Ran is hiding something from him. After a while, they arrived in the psychotherapy area. Fang Tian entered a room and he saw a man looking out the window. He introduced himself as a doctor named Liao Budan, the one that will check Fang Tian's condition. The doctor is holding a pen and he told Fang Tian that he needs to answer some questions. Fang Tian sensed something, and when the doctor pointed the pen at his neck he was alarmed and dodged and tried to punch, but the doctor held his hand and suddenly laughed, informing him that he passed the test. The man suddenly transformed. It was his uncle Ha Boda that used the cursed masked level 37 skill to hide his identity. Ha Boda asked about his experience living with Tang Ran, but instead of answering, Fang Tian questioned about the game that he played in the internet cafe. Ha Boda already expected that Fang Tian will use the VR helmet. What he didn't expect is it will happen much faster. Ha Boda answered his confusion. According to him, there are two ways to enter the virtual world. One is an entity, which is the way that Fang Tian uses to get into the game world, and the other one is a simulation, in which he used a helmet. He also reminded Fang Tian that their plan is making good progress, and that their people took action in Area 3. Their next mission is to infiltrate the game while in a simulation on one condition. Fang Tian must not let anyone know how to use the entity to enter. Meanwhile, Tang Ran received a call from his people informing him that their Area 3 of the virtual was attacked and they recognized a trace of the obsession. Fang Tian and Ha Boda come out of the room and they caught Tang Ran having a conversation over the phone. When he saw Fang Tian, he hung up the call and asked the doctor about Fang Tian's condition. Ha Boda told him that the treatment takes time and that he needs to bring Fang Tian to him once a week. He also suggests letting Fang Tian get adapted to the outside world. Gaming could help him gradually adapt. Ha Boda added. Afterward, they arrived at Tang Ran's house bringing the latest version of the gaming helmet. Kian was too excited upon seeing it, but her father told her that this will be for Fang Tian to help him adapt to the outside world. Tang Ran excused himself and informed Kian to take care of Fang Tian while he was not around, but Kian was hugging the helmet out of excitement. When Tang Ran left, they both opened the box and were amazed by its quality. Fang Tian informed Kian that this is the only game he played since he was a kid and even lied that he never played it again. Because of confusion, Kian asked her how he do the two critical and the cutting throat skill in the internet cafe, and Fang Tian reasoned out that it was only his instincts. Fang Tian, maybe you're a genius gamer, Kian proudly said. They started to operate the game and were too excited about wearing the VR helmet. Fang Tian arrived at the login interface and the system let him choose between adventure and battle mode. Fang Tian picked the adventure mode and he was detected to have a game record. Due to the game being updated, he now has the following choices, but between these options, he doesn't have a choice but to delete his data as Ha Boda advised. He now started from the very beginning rebuilding his account and decided to use his real name for his ID. The adventure game mode officially starts. There will be no instructions during the playing process, but the players will discover it themselves. He entered Pine Tree Town and there is only fewer population, which is also similar to his previous life. His attributes also reset to level 0. Fortunately, the skills honed for years still remain. He was too focused and was startled when Kian approached him. Since Kian believes that he was a newbie in this game, she invited Fang Tian to form a team and she will lead Fang Tian to increase his level. Fang Tian doesn't have a choice but to follow Kian going to the forest to execute some monsters. While Kian was talking about some important things, they noticed a monster coming to them. It jumped from behind Fang Tian and Kian cast a skill to execute the monster. Since they were both parties, Fang Tian received additional points and reached level 1. Since Kian believes that Fang Tian doesn't have experience playing in the other game, she explained that at the start, each player has 4 main stats and each of those stats has 5 points to start with. Then when they level up, they gain 3 more points to add into their character stat. The 4 main stats are Strength, Intelligence, Agility, and Stamina. Strength determines attack and defense. Agility determines the ability of critical attack and evasion. Stamina determines the amount of HP. Intelligence determines MP and recovery speed. There are other ways to increase character stats besides leveling up. An example is wearing equipment with bonus stats or upgrading skill levels. Kian said that the starting point of each person is 5, but Fang Tian noticed that his stats are different. Kian promised that she will help Fang Tian level up to level 10 in just a day, and after that, he can find an instructor to learn skills and receive tasks. Once he will receive the basic skills requirements, he can do his professional quests. His professional instructor will teach him the skills of that profession. Upon hearing it, Fang Tian was thinking that he lived more than 10 years in fantasy. but only learned 2 skills, which are the sneaky hit and master dagger in that world. Learning a new skill is even harder than reaching the sky, but if he can change his profession into an assassin, he can have an instructor that can help him learn all the assassin skills. Fang Tian and Tang Qian are fighting together with a monster in the forest, but Qian received a message from his classmate Jian Bin asking for some help to defeat the boss of the raid. She excused herself to Fang Tian, but she was confident to Fang Tian that he can reach level 10. Fang Tian is currently level 7, so Qian advised him that he can go to Tantu village and accept the inventory upgrade quest at the tailor's shop, since the items from the monster that they executed are enough for him to complete that quest and gain some experience points. Meanwhile, Fang Tian arrived at Tantu village. He goes to the tailor's shop and found the owner named Khan. He handed the rabbit skin and meat as the quest requirements, and since it was already complete, his inventory was upgraded as a reward with additional 1,530 experience points, and currently reached level 8. He also inquired to Khan where he can get a good weapon, and Khan offered him that he can give him a weapon for free. He just needs to do another quest, which is a bit difficult. The reward for accepting this quest will be the level C tailor's dagger. Fang Tian takes the dagger, and the quest is to send a letter to the owner of the little room inside the forest. He will also be rewarded 2,000 experience points once successfully completed. He was thinking that this quest is too easy, so he accepts it without hesitation. On the other hand, Jian Bin and Tang Qian are fighting with a huge bear. Jian Bin reminded Qian about the legendary quest of the newbie area, but Qian forgot the quest, so she didn't inform Fang Tian about it. It was the boss mysterious hunter Jane, who have a super high attack that can lose half of the mana once the opponent will be hit by his arrow. There's no way to approach him, and once the player will die, they will be banned from logging in for 3 days. Since only newbies can activate the quest after class changing, the quest will be gone. That's why nobody can complete it. Even the players in the game forum said that the probability of activating the quest is less than 1 over 1,000. At this rate, Tang Qian was worried, thinking how luckless Fang Tian is. Fang Tian goes to the forest and knocks at the door to inform that he was there to send a letter. Since nobody welcomed him, he decided to open the door, but there is an arrow going toward him. He dodged and rushed outside. The arrow just scratched him, but there's a lot of damage that took a lot of his health. Someone comes out from the little hut. It was the mysterious hunter Jane Brand, holding his bow with 3 arrows and ordering him to open and read the letter. Fang Tian followed his order, and after he read the letter, Jane launched an attack on him. The system suddenly appears to inform him that he has completed the quest and has been leveled up to 10, allowing him to change his class to the main hall. There is also a battle quest to defeat Jane with an unknown reward, and because Fang Tian doesn't have time to think, he focuses and dodges the arrow. Jane's attacks are difficult to counter, but since dying in the game costs nothing, Fang Tian decided to give it a shot. He rushed to Jane, and Jane was amazed by his bravery. He wanted to attack, but he has been affected by the assassin's will, which made his agility to decrease by 35%. At this point, he can only dodge the arrows and cannot fight back because Jane is reading his movement like a book. He cannot predict, and he believes that they are not a match, so he needs to find a chance to run away. Jane suddenly stopped attacking him. Seems like the tailor didn't send me a complete noob. I suggest we pause this little fight, Jane stated, and tossed a life recovery elixir to Fang Tian. It can restore 500 HP immediately after use. Jane invited him to go inside his little hut, and he also apologized to Fang Tian because it was only his test on Fang Tian since he was looking for a sidekick. Jane reveals his identity. He was semi-elf, and he has notes left by his grandfather where there was a mysterious passage in the forest mine outside the town. According to his investigation, this may be one of the 7 necromancers in Lafarnial's secret research laboratory. Fang Tian already heard this name before when he was in a magical world. He heard that Lafarnial was a great sorceress, and no one knows why she suddenly turned into a necromancer. She holds dead creatures, and everyone will look at her as a necromancer. Fang Tian was confused why Jane needs a sidekick if his battle skills are quite impressive, but according to Jane, there is a level 10 elite boss, White Wolf Mooncaller, who always guarded the lab entrance and never leave the place, so he was hoping that Fang Tian could lure and distract this monsters. If it is true that there are secrets in there, they can possibly get a lot of loot, or they might have a chance to find the quill of a magic researcher and learn a few interesting skills. Once they cannot get anything, Fang Tian still has Jane's gratitude, and Jane will still help him. However, this mission only allows adventurers with level 10 and below and has not ascended yet, so while this mission, Fang Tian cannot get to level 11 and will not be able to ascend. Fang Tian thinks that it might be worth it, so he accepts Jane's offer to explore abandoned mines. He was surprised upon seeing that this task is an S-tier mission, which he never tried even in his previous life. Meanwhile, they arrived at the area where they saw the Xiaoyu White Wolf. The wolf's breathing is a little bit strange, and Fang Tian concludes that it is not just a normal advanced boss. Jane has been coming here for 20 years, and every day, this wolf becomes stronger. It might be that in recent years, the mains from the mining area caused some variation in it. Generally, the mission ratings are linked together with rewards. The hardest mission Fang Tian's ever did is a B level. It was when he was in a fantasy. Level of 1s were even rare. The mission this time is at the S level, which means the reward will be bigger, and that might be the reason why Jane has been persistently waiting here. Fang Tian will hold his attention while Jane will find a chance to execute him. Fang Tian was a little bit worried because he doesn't have any controlling skills, and if Jane will take too long, he might die. Jane swore that he will execute the white wolf and go with Fang Tian to the den of manes. Jane strikes an attack on the wolf, but the wolf was alert and gets up and suddenly roars. It is his way of calling his level 5 forest dire wolf friends. Fang Tian rushed to the dire wolf and slashed its neck, but he was bitten by the other wolf and received 54 damage points and 70% slowed down. Upon seeing it, Jane arrowed the dire wolf, and the white wolf keeps roaring and jumped toward Fang Tian and hit him with murderous air, which reduced his nimble level by 35%. This sudden murderous air not only affects his nimble level but also his blood value, and if it keeps going, he might die. Therefore, he quickly rushed to the white wolf and tried to attack, but the white wolf was too fast and dodged his attack. It was several faster than the forest dire wolf. The white wolf raised his right paw to attack. Although Fang Tian managed to hold its claw, it was still too strong and trying to crush him. The white wolf used its full strength, and Fang Tian was too close to be struck. He tried again and rushed to the wolf, climbing up to its face and stabbing it in the head. Fang Tian flew away, and the white wolf began to be furious and hit him. He only has 1/4 left of his health and has been injured by the howling white wolf's shredding attack. He continued receiving damage, and his movement speed was reduced by 70%. Jane hasn't gotten a chance to execute the white wolf, so he decided to do it himself. He bravely stands while the wolf is rushing toward him. He jumped to attack, but Jane's arrow fatally hit the howling white moon wolf, and he was also hit by the arrow. He received 6,104 damage, causing his character to be dead. He was banned from logging into the game for the next 72 hours and has been deducted 10% of experience points. The S-ranked mission is indeed tricky, but he's afraid that defeating the howling white wolf to enter the mine is just his first step. He's willing to wait for 3 days in hopes that Jane will keep his promise and wait for him inside the little hut in the forest. He logged out of the game and played for a total of 4 hours and 23 minutes. He removes his helmet, and Tang Ran is not beside him. When he comes out of the room, he found Kyan and was too excited because her father told her that Tang Ran will go on a mission and won't come back anytime soon. Upon hearing it, Fang Tian was thinking that the mission might be related to the plan that his uncle Ha Bo mentioned. The next day, Fang Tian and Tang Ran attend school. Fang Tian was introduced by his professor, and Jian Bin was surprised to find himself in the same classroom as the freestyle expert. Fang Tian sits next to Jian Bin, and Jian Bin immediately approached him. He offered to assist Fang Tian in leveling up, but Fang Tian declined and stated that he preferred leveling alone. Fang Tian also informed Jian Bin that he was not an expert and that he had been executed, resulting in a 3-day ban. Jian Bin deduces from this that Fang Tian accepted the letter delivery quest and went to find the archer at the little hut in the forest. Fang Tian explained that he did not defeat the archer and that the archer had no ill will toward him and only wanted him to be a sidekick to help hunt the howling white wolf. Jian Bin was astounded that he had completed the legendary mission because every player who had accepted it in the previous 30 years had failed. They all failed the quest in the same way, by being executed by a single shot from an archer. Fang Tian believes that executing the white wolf was probably just the first part. He knows that there might be a lot more follow-up quests in the future. Jian Bin keeps pestering him, asking for some tips on how to be an expert. Fang Tian feels a little bit annoyed, but good thing that Tang Ran came and scolded Jian Bin for being too stubborn. Qian also informed Fang Tian that they have club activities, which are school-organized groups that are about various interests for students. There are different kinds of clubs, and according to Jian Bin, the hottest eSports game is currently Magic. Even the government is organizing national school competitions to foster potential gamers. What they are saying is not different from what's written in the report that Ha Bo gave to Fang Tian. That's why he decided to choose the eSports club and come with Qian and Juan Bin to the recruitment area. Unfortunately, when they arrive, the office was closed, so Qian suggests seeing the other clubs in the meantime. While they are outside in the eSports office, there are people behind them. It was Liuja from the chemistry class who is also the opponent of Fang Tian during the last match in the internet cafe, while the girl with him is the vice president of the esports club named Kinyu. Liuja told Kinyu that Fang Tian is the one who activated a freestyle mode during their match, and Kinyu was confused because it was a little bit strange for her that an expert suddenly appear out of nowhere. She was also interested to know about Tang Ran, and according to Liuja, Qian is undoubtedly an expert but lacks experience and needs to sharpen her skills. Kinyu heard enough and let Liuja be in charge of the recruitment test for the new esport club members. As for that guy Fang Tian, when the time comes, I'll take a good look at his skills myself. Kinyu added. Fang Tian and Tang Qian have returned home, And before Fang Tian enters his room, Kian suggests that he look at the game forum to learn the necessary information for newbies. Fang Tian immediately wears the VR helmet, but he was still banned in adventure mode, so he decided to follow Tang Kian and check the forum. He joined the game forum and keeps reading for how many hours. He also saw information that caught his attention. During the end of the first year in which the game was released, a huge bug appeared suddenly. Please used a unique method to log into Magic and brought back items from the game world. Devilish Scorpion, a level 30 boss monster found initially in the game, also came in the same way. The violent Devilish Scorpion wiped out a small town as soon as it arrived. This incident rapidly sparked panic and caused concern all over the world. After annihilating the Devilish Scorpion, the United Nations announced the prohibition of all unique methods used to enter the game. Offenders faced a maximum sentence of the penalty of death. At the same time, the United Nations launched Operation Butterfly to select talented players to send into the game world. They allowed them to enter the game under specific circumstances to act directly against potential threats, and there's been no news since then. Judging by the deployment of Operations Butterfly, the target of this operation seems to be in-game NPCs. Fang Tian concludes his Uncle Tang, the T-27 District 3 commander, might also be a member of this operation. 3 days later, Fang Tian can be able to log into the game, and he remembered what Jane promised him, that they will enter the mine together. When he entered the game, he respawned in the area where his character died and found out that Jane waited for him for too long. Jane explained that he intended to deliberately lock in on Fang Tian as his target and fired with the intent of executing both Fang Tian and the White Wolf. His skill required him to lock onto a target for an extended period of time. Only by locking onto Fang Tian as his target will prevent the Howling White Wolf from noticing his actions and fleeing. So as long as he timed his move right when Fang Tian got in its way and blocked the wolf's vision, he will be able to take out the Howling White Wolf along with Fang Tian. Jane handed the Grade C Wolf's Fang to Fang Tian. It's a white fang from a Howling White Wolf, and it smells like the White Wolf before it died. It is also useful for forcing, enchanting, and alchemy. Since they already succeeded in executing the White Wolf, they can now freely enter the mine. Fang Tian suggests taking the lead since he's an assassin, and his punishment for dying is not so bad. The system popped up and his quest has been updated to explore the abandoned mine. While they are walking, he noticed some armor inside, so he concludes that there might be people here that are fighting. He also saw a flower, but since his appraisal skill is level 0, he cannot be able to identify an object. Jane told him that it is deadly nightshade, an essential ingredient for pharmacists. They continue exploring until they arrived at a stone door, but they were affected by the corrupted smell of the undead. Fang Tian believes that this door was built by people to prevent the corrupted aura from coming out. According to Jane, the necromancer Lafarnial is also a half-elf like him. Those who seek power will have to embrace the undead, and it has been determined by God. He tried to decipher the inscription on the door, but something smog's coming out. The system informed Fang Tian that they must break the seal to enter. Suddenly, there are undead skeletons coming through them. Fang Tian fights using his sword, and he figures out that these undead are waiting here in the door all along. While he was fighting, Jane is trying to open the seal by murmuring incantation. The door suddenly shakes and Jane flew away. The seal was so complex than he thought. Also, based on the conditions of the surrounding area, there was a tier 3 undead creature wraith behind the seal. Fang Tian knows that normal physical attacks won't work on wraith undead, so he started to panic because their basic stats have been affected by the aura of the undead and are constantly decreasing. These undead skeletons are constantly resurrecting, so they have a huge disadvantage. Jane helped him attack the skeletons and decided to withdraw for now and figure out how to break the seal. They run away until no undead pursue them, since those skeletons are only active near the seal. Fang Tian decided to reach out to Tang Kian and asked about the seal, but even Tang Kian doesn't have an idea and suggested asking on the game forums because there are special quest hunters who might be interested in helping him, but he needs to spend a fortune. In terms of money, Jane told him that the deadly nightshade is useful. It can be used to refine screaming potions to deal with wraiths effectively. It is worth a lot, so they can trade this for some money. However, even if Jane has the right equipment, he doesn't know the harvesting skill. Forcefully attempting to harvest deadly nightshade will affect how intact it is and its quality. Fang Tian knows the harvesting skills, but he doesn't know if he can be able to use in here. Jane handed him the grade D old sickle that can use in harvesting skills. Fang Tian started to harvest the deadly nightshade and acquired harvesting skill level 15. He successfully harvested one deadly nightshade and continued to get more until Jane decided to leave and told him that they should meet again and discuss breaking the seal in 2 days. He will also refine a screaming potion that can be used to deal with the wraith. Fang Zion harvested a lot of the deadly nightshade, but he thinks that no one will buy it. From others' point of view, Shen Luo from the Start Guild and also a streamer ended her live stream because of her president's order. According to her president, someone in the forum posted a sale that generated a lot of attention. He ordered Shen Luo to secure a deal with the player, and his starting price is 30 million gold coins. Shen Luo was surprised by the huge amount he offered, and so she asked what item it is. The president answered that it was the deadly nightshade. Upon hearing it, he stood up and can't believe that this nightshade really exists in this game. The next day, Jian Bin asked Fang Tian about his quest, and Fang Tian told him that he ran into a problem but already asked on the forum. Jian Bin let Fang Tian use his tablet to log onto the forum and check his post. Upon checking, Jian Bin thought that nobody replied to Fang Tian's post, while Fang Tian was surprised when he saw that there were a lot of replies to his thread about the deadly nightshade. Jian Bin also saw this post and even told Fang Tian that it is all over the place. It's getting a large amount of attention, and he even believes that the poster is going to be rich. He then realized that Fang Tian is the one who posted it. When Fang Tian confirmed it and when Jian Bin checked, he saw that the streamer Shan Luo also commented on the post. Shan Luo is his idol, and he cannot believe that Fang Tian's manager gets the attention of the hottest girl from the City of Ruins. He was very sure that it was the real Shan Luo because of the sexy portrait and also a verified user. Since Jian Bin said that Shan Luo is not a fraud, Fang Tian decided to contact her later tonight. Jian Bin even asked for some favor to him. Meanwhile, they comes home, and as usual, they started to play right away. Shan Luo was waiting for Fang Tian's message, and her colleague was hesitant upon seeing that Fang Tian's account is newly registered, so for her, it might be a scam. No guild has completed that level 60 instance yet, and the deadly nightshade is the key to clearing it. According to Shan Luo, this will be worth it once they will be the first to execute level 60. The tech team said that these deadly nightshade screenshots are genuine. Also, each plan has a percentage of how intact it is. It has at least 70%, which suggests that the seller possesses extremely high-level harvesting skills, so Shen Luo believes that the poster is not a scammer. After waiting all evening, Fang Tian sent a friend request to her, and he immediately get up out of excitement. Fang Tian sent her a message asking about the price, and Shen Luo's goal is to make Fang Tian part of their guild. They also offered Fang Tian the seal inscription for free, and in return, they will buy the deadly nightshade for 15 million gold. Slaying monsters cannot earn money in the game. The exchange rate between real and virtual money is roughly 10,000 federal bills for every gold coin. Over the years, Fang Tian had to rely on quests to earn money. He didn't expect that in this world, he will earn so much money from picking up a few deadly nightshades. He replied to Shen Luo and asked for some more requests. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Till next time.